Once upon a time, Richard stood at the back, clapping proudly, his heart clenched as he watched his wife, Enima, beam under the spotlight. She looked breathtaking in her custom-made Versace gown, a one-of-a-kind gown Richard had flown in from Paris. Because his wife Enima deserved nothing but the best. Her emerald jewelry glittered under the chandeliers, a perfect match for the woman she had become, untouchable, polished, and worlds apart from him. Richard forced down the ache in his chest as he recalled what Enima had said to him earlier that night. They had arrived together to the award ceremony, but at the entrance, Enima turned to him, her voice barely below a whisper. "Richard, from here on out, keep your distance." Richard frowned. "What?" She smoothed the fabric of her gown and adjusted her jewelry. "I don't want people to know we are together." "But Enima, I'm your husband." "You're my embarrassment." And just like that, she walked ahead and left him standing there. At the entrance, Richard was informed by the protocol team that he was not on the list of attendees. That was a new low even for Enima. She had not made any arrangement for him in the banquet hall, and so Richard, her husband, had no choice but to sit with the hotel workers in the basement, watching from a small screen as his wife basked in the glory he had helped her achieve. The MC's question pulled his attention back to the tiny screen. "We are told you arrived with a special someone tonight." Richard straightened in his chair. Was she going to correct her mistake and acknowledge him? But Enima cut the MC off before she could finish. She waved a dismissive hand, and when she spoke, Richard's stomach dropped. "Oh, that. No, it was nobody. Just a distant uncle of mine. He had to leave early." "A distant uncle?" Richard's jaw tightened. His wife had no regard for him. In fact, she was ashamed of him. Richard felt the walls of the basement closing in on him as he watched her on the small screen. Karen, Enima's best friend, leaned over and whispered as Enima took her seat. "Distant uncle. Girl, you handled that like a pro." Enima giggled. "You know me now." That night, as they drove home, the silence was unbearable. Richard's knuckles tightened on the steering wheel. Finally, he spoke. "Distant uncle, Enima. That's who I am to you." Enima scoffed, barely looking up from her phone. "Richard, please, 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 please. I'm not in the mood for your andropause tantrums and nagging. I can't have people knowing I'm married to a man almost my father's age. It's embarrassing. You should even be grateful I called you an uncle. What if I had said grandpa? Because honestly," she gave him a once-over, "that's exactly what you look like. Embarrassing? The same man who paid your fees, took care of your family, built you up?" Enima rolled her eyes. "Yes, and I'm grateful. But gratitude isn't love, Richard." Richard's voice dropped, rough with restrained emotion. "And at what point did you realize you didn't love me?" That was the trigger. Enima snapped. "Richard, park the car." "What?" "I said park the damn car," she screamed. Shocked and confused, Richard pulled over. Before he could react, Enima flung the door open, stormed to his side and yanked him out. "Enima, what are you doing? Stop." Her eyes flashed with impatience. "Look here, I have had a long night and I'm not in the mood to listen to your nagging." She slid into the driver's seat. Richard's stomach dropped. "Enima, it's past midnight. We are in the middle of nowhere." Enima smirked. "Well, that's your business." And with that, she slammed the door, revved the engine and sped off, leaving Richard in a cloud of dust. Weeks passed, and Enima's disrespect toward Richard continued to grow. She never came home on time. She barely acknowledged Richard's existence, and she refused to wear her wedding ring. She would come home drunk from clubbing, kick off her heels, sink into the couch, and demand a foot massage from Richard. Richard swallowed it all, the insults and the humiliation. Then one morning, as he cleaned their room, a stack of papers fell from the drawer. Richard skimmed through them, then stopped. His hands trembled as he read. His entire body shook with rage. That night, the front door swung open at almost midnight. Enima stumbled in drunk as usual, reeking of expensive alcohol. Richard exhaled sharply. "Where are you coming from at this hour?" She kicked off her heels, stretched lazily. "Out. You are not my father, Richard. Stop acting like one." Richard clenched his fist. reached into his pocket and tossed the papers at her feet. What's the meaning of this? Enima glanced down, picked up the documents and scanned them briefly. Then she shrugged, like it meant nothing. I asked you a question, Enima. She chuckled darkly, tossing the papers aside, and I ignored it. Richard's heart pounded. Enima, tell me it's not true. He swallowed hard. These medical records indicate you willingly terminated pregnancies. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 babies, Enima, gone. You've been playing me for a fool for years, making me think we've been trying to have a baby. How could you do this to me? She stepped closer, eyes glinting with amusement. Oh, Richard, she laughed. You actually thought I wanted to have a baby with you? Richard stiffened. Enima, don't. Oh, please, she cut him off, rolling her eyes. Don't think for a second I would let myself be tied down with a child from a man like you. His world tilted. A man like me? Richard's voice broke. Enima smirked. Yes, Richard, an old pathetic thing like you. Richard's breath came out ragged. Did you just call me a thing? She crossed her arms. If you want respect, find a woman your age. Richard stood up slowly. Enima, enough. She tilted her head, feigning innocence. Or what? Her voice dripped with mockery. You divorce me? Silence. Her smirk deepened. You don't have the guts. She gave a mocking pout. You love me too much. And then, just like that, she stumbled off to bed, leaving him broken. That night, Richard sat alone, tears streaming down his face. His chest tightened until it felt like he was suffocating. He had given her everything, and she had given him nothing but pain. Yet, even as his heart ached, he knew she was right. He loved her too much, but love shouldn't feel like this. Months went by, and at a high-profile corporate retreat, Enima met Abuaje. He was tall, dark, and confident, with a presence that commanded attention. His cologne was rich, his suits perfectly tailored, and his words laced with charm. Unlike Richard, Abuaje exuded power. They spent all their free time together. It started with stolen glances, then private dinners, and soon whispered conversations in dimly lit corners. Enima was smitten. Abuaje made her feel young and desirable. He was everything Richard wasn't. One evening, after yet another romantic dinner, Enima came home late. Richard was sitting in the dark waiting. The weight of his gaze sent a chill down her spine, but she maxed it with her usual arrogance. Where have you been? His voice was calm. Too calm. Enima scoffed, tossing her purse onto the couch. Richard, not this again. I told you I had a business dinner. With Abuaje? Her heart skipped. A flicker of hesitation crossed her face, but she recovered quickly. Why does it matter? Richard exhaled slowly, rising to his feet. Because I know everything, Enima. The lies, the deception, the affair. He tossed a folder on the table. Inside were photographs of her and Abuaje, hotel receipts, text messages. For the first time, Enima faltered. Richard, you don't have to explain. His voice was eerily steady. I should have let you go a long time ago. She smirked, masking her unease with bravado. So what now? You divorced me? Richard nodded, sliding a document across the table. Already filed. Enima's smirk vanished. Wait, you're serious? Richard met her gaze. Years of heartbreak hardening his resolve. I was a fool for loving you, but not anymore. Panic flashed in her eyes. Richard, let's talk about this. You don't have to be so dramatic. He shook his head. You already made your choice, Enima. Now I'm making mine. For the first time, she felt something she hadn't in years. Fear. Not fear of losing love, but of losing control. Richard had been her safety net, her unwavering support. Without him, she was truly on her own. Richard, please. But he was already walking away. Months later, the divorce was finalized. Enima was free to be with Abuaje, but freedom came with a price. At first, the relationship was thrilling, but soon the cracks began to show. Abuaje was not the perfect man she had imagined. He was controlling, dismissive, and worst of all, unfaithful. One night, drained from work, Enima pushed open the door. She froze. There in their bed was Abwaji, with two women, sheets tangled around their bodies. Her stomach twisted. "How could you?" she screamed. Abwaji stretched lazily, grinning. "Madame, don't make a scene. You were with me when you were still married to Richard. Don't try to act sanctimonious now. We are all cheaters here. You can join us if you want." He winked. "I'm not picky. There's a lot of this chocolatey goodness to go around." Enime's world crumbled. For the first time, she understood the pain Richard had endured, and for the first time, she realized she had lost the one person who truly loved her. Meanwhile, Richard had moved on. He found peace. He found happiness. He found a woman who saw his worth. And Enima, she was left with nothing but regret. The moral of the story is that be careful how you treat the people who love you. Wealth, power, and status may shine for a while, but they can never replace genuine love, loyalty, and respect. When you trade true devotion for temporary pleasures, you may find yourself alone when it matters most. Love should be nurtured, not taken for granted, because once lost, it may be gone forever.
Hi fam, click the link on the right to dive into yet another captivating tale. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. Until next time, it's bye from us at Apenthene African Stories.